everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of my Minecraft modded Let's Play with Goblin. I wanted to say thank you all so much for 20 subscribers. The channel is already starting to grow a little bit, and that makes me really happy. Last time we found ourselves a village and some spruce wood. We started to build around the outside. In this episode, we're going to be working more on getting set up in survival and making sure we have resources. I decided to work on the circular design of the village. I wanted to have some towers on the outside and then the big tower in the middle. I'm kind of thinking about Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings in terms of the concentric rings, and you kind of spiral up to the middle of the city. I really like that design. I've always liked. Since I was a kid, I felt like that was one of the coolest fantasy designs for a city. It's like sculpted out of a mountain, and I know we're on flat land, but we're still gonna have cool rings and a cool fantasy fortress. I continued work on our auto smelter. We're gonna have rails on the top and the bottom so that we can just load up whatever we want to smelt, and then it will be automatically distributed among the furnaces and gathered at the bottom. The only thing about this method is it does mean we don't get as much experiences from the furnaces if we do the bottom technique. I get distracted pretty easily, so I like to take a few sessions to do things like breaking down houses and building buildings. You'll notice that things are pretty scattered. I haven't decided if I wanted to edit the things that are related together or keep it in chronological order. Like, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Then I started work on our iron farm. I'm not following any design for this farm. I'm just using the laws of Minecraft. You can see some villagers making love in the back. Oh, they got mad at each other. I kept making beds for the iron farm, and then I went off somewhere to dig a hole. This is my first step in building an iron farm so the villagers aren't visible or too close to the village. I like to dig a hole and put the beds in it. We are missing a lot of tools for an iron farm, and a lot of you might be going, wow, an iron farm in episode 2? Yes, my girlfriend uses so much iron. So much iron. You cannot believe the amount of iron that she goes through. So I started an iron farm as soon as I start a new world. I like to dig a hole next to it to put the zombie in. We will find a name tag at some point, either in a mine shaft or we'll make a max level librarian. But we'll need a name tag. We'll also need a good amount of iron for all the hoppers for the farm, and we'll also need to find lava for the farm. But starting it now is a good idea. Trust me. Now I raided some sheep to replace the beds I took. I don't know why I didn't just make new beds for the iron farm, but I stole beds from this house and now I've replaced them. Maybe, I want my citizens to have new mattresses. Sue me. The ones living in constant fear and terror don't need new mattresses. I continued building up the tower in the center of the village that's going to be the main castle. I suppose it's not really a castle and more of a giant wizard tower, but it's where I'm gonna live and I'm the overlord of this place. On the bottom layer, I'm gonna have our beds and just kind of our basic starter equipment. And then I'm gonna add more layers for like an enchanting room and other things as we get more equipment. But this is really going to be our first house in what I hope to be a long-standing world where we build many different villages and have many different styles of house and many bases. A very important part of the Minecraft playthrough is the enchanting table. And in order to get an enchanting table, we need many books. And there's a few ways to get books. One way is by trading with a librarian, but that costs money, and I'm a cheapskate. So I'm going to farm a bunch of wheat, which I'll use to make more cows, and those more cows will be used to make more leather. And this is how the economy works. Sugarcane is also pretty important for this process. It's how we get paper, which, when you think about it, is not how paper works in real life. We use trees, but not like just straight out. We also treat it with like a bunch of really harsh chemicals, so that we can actually write on the paper and it doesn't decay, which is really screwed up. You know, if we used hemp to make paper instead, we wouldn't have to treat it with as many chemicals. It only would take a quarter of the land, and we'd also be able to plant it way more often. Like, trees take so long to grow, but hemp only takes like a year, and then we could make like tons and tons of paper like really cheaply. But you know, this is Minecraft and we don't have that. There's a really good video by Bailey Sarian on the topic if you want to know more about hemp to paper farming and how paper is linked with like a bunch of like shady stuff. It's a dark history. Love dark history, by the way. It's a great podcast. Meanwhile, Goblin had their first real duel. I took out some of the temporary structures in our house that looked very ugly. Renovating inside a village means that there's a lot of structures already where you want to build. I used a lot of oak wood, andesite, and cobblestone because that's what I had gathered from working on the village and Goblin had gathered from doing mining. There's something really special about digging out the dirt from your first floor in Minecraft when you're ready to finally come inside and be inside and not, you know, just in a kind of gazebo tent thing. We still don't have a roof, so it's not a gazebo tent thing, but you know what I mean. I cleaned up all of our doorways so that we had somewhere to get inside. I decided to leave the bell in the center of our house for now because I did not have the floor constructed where the villagers were going to have their little meetings and stuff. Next, I went out to the edge of the village and decided to start building our first villager house. This would be the most important basis of our economy in the village, the Fletcher. This villager accepts endless amounts of sticks in exchange for emeralds. I don't really know where he gets the emeralds, or what he's doing with all of those sticks. I think it's implied that he's making arrows for you later on. He doesn't have any arrows for sale right now, though, and I'm just wondering where he's keeping all of those, sticks. I decided to make this house at kind of an angle, so it would look kind of artsy. Second, to shout out complimentary shaders Unbound by MNGT. These shaders are really beautiful and really add a lot to the atmosphere of the game. I slept in some random dude's house, and then the next day was a day for gathering wood. I then used the wood to start working on the frame of my house. I like to build a frame out of whatever outline I'm going to use for a structure before I go in and fill it in more with other materials. I also decided I wanted more stone and more furnaces working, so I went over to fill up our furnaces. Now we have 4 furnaces in the auto smelter. I continued building our house, placing some birch around the door frames, and dumping off my inventory. Then I started pulling up the cross in the center of the village so that we didn't have a giant outline. I also added doors. When I went over to work on our furnace some more, I saw that Goblin had made some additions and did not know what block coding I was doing to kind of make a schematic before we had the proper materials to make an auto smelter. So I had to fix that.
Thought it was decoration. I thought it was decoration.
See, that's on you. Nothing I ever do is for aesthetics.
That is obvious.
I booted a child out of my bed, and then I slept through the night. However, as I'm watching this footage back, I'm now wondering if I should have it be manual so that we can actually collect the experience from smelting things in the furnaces. Experience is pretty rare, especially at higher levels, and we have 2 entire sets of tools to enchant since there are 2 of us. As I was working in the village the next day, I spotted a Fletcher on one of the roofs. This meant that a villager had taken a job from the house that I was building, and I could go over and reset it until he had the exact job I wanted. I worked on the Fletcher's house while I waited for him to come over and so I could mess with him. I added fuel quartz to the auto smelter. As I worked on our wall, I encountered a creeper. I bravely whipped my axe out and battled the fiend. With a 3rd blow, with a 4th blow, I gained the achievement Monster Hunter. And then I started building my sentry towers. I took great care to make sure that they were evenly spaced. I was also very careful to make sure that they ended up to be the same shape. These towers will give the city a silhouette like that of a crown. I continued work on the auto smelter, adding some rails that I'm going to rip out now that I've thought about how experience works. I set to work making some stone for some more builds, and then I kept making the towers.
Oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Here we go, I guess. You know, I'll be honest, I don't remember what I was doing for most of this. I don't know why I stole the coal. I think I wanted torches. So I got some coal and some sticks to make some torches.
I noticed my farm was ready for harvest, so I went ahead and took the crops, added more farmland. I really enjoy how crops look in this texture pack, Fancy Crops by BBL Lost. The different heights and textures really give a more natural feel to your farmlands that the regular farmlands that are also uniform don't give. I really like organic things. I collected the stone from the hoppers and lost all of the experience that it could have possibly given me in the process. And then I began digging out my storage room behind my furnaces. A good storage room is essential in Minecraft, especially if you're a builder like me, because otherwise everything will become disorganized very fast. It's also very hard when you're on a multiplayer server to keep everything organized. Like, for example, I just discovered that the mine is placed here, where I was also going to put the docks.
So I decided to get some spruce for the house, and some oak, and then I finally made the torches that I was gonna make all that time ago. Then I watched a villager. Can I say on YouTube?
No, you can't.
Baby. Child, Coleman, who names their kid Coleman. Coleman is a beast. Why does he have so many hearts? I cooked potatoes. Parkour. Here in Parkour Civilization. Then I slept.
I took a view at our map on Xaeros, which is very useful to get an overhead view of things. I had a few of the towers blocked out, but not all of them yet. This tower ended up being right on top of this horse's home. It's alright, horsey. We'll make you a new house. I don't really worry about what's under my plans or what material I'm making my plans out of. This allows me to really just have fun with the game. I can worry about getting all the materials I need after I'm done making my plan. Again, I was struck by how beautiful these shaders were when the rain started. I finished the last few outlines on the map, and then I tried to connect the towers. This is where I really ruined my whole vision of things, and I really wasn't happy with the way the shape turned out at the end, but we can fix that more later.
I decided to go down into the mine. For what reason? Who knows? I don't know. What the fuck? This is spooky noises. There were so many creature noises. Oh my god. There was a man, and I had to kill him. And then I tried to change the resource pack because it was wrong, and then I got ambushed by so many men. So many men. They just kept coming, and I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. And it would have been so cool if the correct resource pack was on, but that's okay. They were coming through this one block hole in the ceiling that I had to patch up. And then I found redstone, and Critter told me to bring it back up, so I got it. Iron! Now, Critter is still working on the iron farm at this point, so I just decided to collect as much iron as I could.
I decided to take a break from the outline of the village and work on getting the Fletcher the right trades. Thank you, Archie. I ended up getting lucky with both an arrows and a stick trade. I thought the arrows trade came a bit later, so I'm pretty happy that it actually didn't. I made a basic path over to the Fletcher. I wanted our Fletcher to have some nice windows, so I tore up this bank of sand and smelted it all up. I went to go take more wood from our tree farm, and then I realized that I hadn't properly saved any birch saplings. This meant I had to go on a long adventure to go collect the missing wood type. Meanwhile, Goblin got herself a bow.
Iron collecting, collecting iron. Gonna make a pickaxe. Found lapis. Oh, spooky. Oh, yeah!
Oh, almost completely full, too.
I finally got to use my bow. Yes! I got the resource pack fixed. Imagine how scary that would have been earlier with that resource pack on.
I got the necessary sapling and made it home just before dark. I continued work on the Fletcher's house, matching the style of our own house and making it just a little bit different. So it'd be a little spicy, a little fun, you know. I thought that using stripped birch to line the windows would give just enough of a difference from the other walls that it would make them pop. Parkour.
Here in Parkour Civilization, nobody jumps for the beef.
That's not this channel.
Do you think that'll still be relevant by the time this comes out?
Your faith in my editing skills amazes me,
I always have faith in you.
as evidenced by your earlier comments. I decided to dump all of our stuff in the storage area, even though it wasn't organized yet, because that way it was slightly organized. I wasted all the experience from the glass again by taking it out of the hopper because I don't know any better at this point, and then I blocked a villager from getting into his home. Just kidding, I just made him use the door. Pretty good timing. He now has a bed and torches and walls and windows and is like the most decked out resident in our entire like city. I was proud of myself.
I always thought it was weird that glow squids didn't actually give off any light. Seems like that should be the only thing they do. Why am I not getting that lapis? I guess it's underwater. Okay, there we go. Thought I just didn't get it for a sec. He's stuck in a hole. Yeah! I did it. Thank you, Archie. I thought it was pretty cool, too. Yeah. God, I can't stand the food eating noises in this sound pack. It's so vile. Mashing wet meat down my gullet. Don't put that in the video. Don't put that in the video. You can't put that in the video. YouTube will demonetize us. You can't do it.
Shout out to Enhanced Audio Sound Pack by Frawzy.
I hate you.
Sorry, hon. That just was too perfect not to do. I went back to our home with a single very tall pillar. I took out all the spruce logs that Goblin had collected for me, and I made our copper into building blocks. I also made a lightning rod and put it at the highest point in the village that would not catch fire. I kept working on our house frame, making it tall and fun. After this layer, I want it to get thinner as it gets taller. I'm adding a wooden sort of medieval look to our castle vibes. I connected our other towers to each other, and when I looked at what I had made, it was not great.
Archie agrees. Do better. I'm just kidding. I love you.
I really did not think that it was very smooth around the edges, but that's for me in next episode to destroy and fix.
I kept exploring the magical cavern that I found myself in. I decided to go through and light up the cave as much as I could. It wasn't super interesting, so I didn't really feel like it was worth exploring with Critter. Made my way back to the staircase and got some gold on the way up. I mostly just spent this time continuing to find resources. Oh, then I found this big, freaky, dark cavern, which was fun and scary. I needed to sleep so that Critter didn't die in the dark.
I kept working on making our storage area deeper into the little hill. The nice thing about building underground storage areas is you don't have to use signs on everything. You can just put the blocks behind the chests on the wall, and it won't look ugly on the outside. I worked on the top of the auto smelter, which is really the important part. I saw Leslie. Poor Leslie only has one heart left. Probably won't see Leslie again.
You know, of course I was hoping to find something more valuable, like diamonds, but I didn't really find any. Mostly lapis and a lot of iron and some gold, a little bit of redstone. Oh, wasn't the best cave, you know? Did I skip all of that lapis? Why didn't I collect any of that lapis? Lots of skeletons in this cave. Lots of skeletons. I love the ragdoll bodies when they die. It's so funny. Also scary cave noises. Shout out to Blue's Better Monsters. I love these guys. They're so freaky and the ragdolls are hilarious, and I like that their limbs go flying sometimes. It's a lot of fun. It's Blue's Better Monsters by Mr. Blue Yeti. Now this guy, love this guy. Look at him go. Love that guy. I also found an Enderman, and I decided to murder him in cold blood and take his possessions. Ooh, yeah, the arm! Love that. I got real hurt. I almost died there. Which would have been really bad. That would have sucked really bad. I had so much stuff. Yeah, I needed to sleep, but then I found this spawner. And I tried to deactivate it. I tried desperately to deactivate it before this skeleton murdered me. And I did.
You placed so many torches
I did.
and only one skeleton spawned.
Yeah. I was scared. I was nervous. Don't judge me.
I think sleeping should heal you.
It should. What is in my hand? What am I holding? What is that? What am I holding? Is that pumpkin seeds? I think it's seeds of some kind. Okay, shout out Better Crops. Giga Chicken.
And then I started to chop more spruce wood. Using the wood, I kept working on the frame. Water bucket, MLG. I just couldn't believe that I had almost finished our big tower level 1. I continued destroying random houses in the village. And by random, I mean the one particular one that had, for some reason, garnered my wrath. And then I got distracted again. Started cutting down our spruce trees. I wasted more experience as I took the things out of the hoppers. How much enchanting levels have been lost to my ingenuity. I continued work on the auto smelter, adding powered rails. I saw an iron golem try to give a villager a flower, which was very sweet. I forgot they did that.
So I made my way back through the strip mine, up the stairs, back to the village. I had completed my quest. I took a second to admire the progress Critter had made on our beautiful tower house. I deposited my treasure trove into the chest for later sorting. Unfortunately, I didn't find a name tag like I was trying to. I thought maybe the spawner would have one, but nope. Critter already had better armor, so I asked if I could make myself some better armor with the iron that I found, and then I was finally fully suited up. I also decided to make myself an iron chest piece because all I had was this leather one, and I kept almost dying in the cave, so I'm gonna miss that red chest plate. It matched my outfit. And then I decided to make a bucket, because it's always nice to have a bucket. I made 2, so I collected a water bucket just in case. Feel like maybe 1 for lava, because there was plenty of lava in the, because I found some lava in the cave and I decided, might as well go collect it. We started preparing to go on an adventure. I saw another village on the map. We headed off in a random direction. We'd gotten a bunch of work done on the village and collected a bunch of resources, and we both decided we wanted to go on a little adventure. As we headed off, I realized that I was unarmed, aside from my bow, but I'd really like to have a melee weapon. And we only had 2 pieces of iron left, so I really quickly popped down, grabbed a single piece of iron, popped back up, and made myself an axe. And then we went on the adventure. I like birch villages. This is Birch Village, right? Spruce Village, not the Spruce Village. I like spruce villages, because I like spruce wood. Don't you laugh at me, like I know wood types. I'm sorry, I'm not the wood expert. I'm not an expert on wood. Do you like wood? Tell me about your wood. In the comments below, tell us about your favorite wood. Tell us about your wood. As we stop to watch this sunset together, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more Minecraft videos like this. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!